Rob Thompson, Mike Sharfenberg, Game Plan You today. This is Interview with Influencers. And Mike, you're now considered an influencer. How's that?
Right. I don't know. That's just a bittersweet feeling, but let's embrace it. Let's do it.
Well, an influencer in your category, right? In your category of young professional, right? Someone who's come out, who went to college to get a sport management degree, which there are 600 plus colleges that offer it now globally, right? You're one of probably 30,000 sport management students that have just entered the marketplace. You've had an internship with one of the golden childs in the industry, the New York Yankees, right? You started there. Now you're going to work for the defending national champs, the Washington Nationals, the World Series champs. So you're on a roll. So you are what I would consider an up-and-coming rising star within this industry, which makes you an influencer. So, and this is what this series is going to be about, right?
That is correct, and wouldn't be here without the guidance of you guys, and excited to share my story and help out the next generation of rising stars in any way we can.
So we obviously wanted to start this, right? We talked about this, and I'll tee it up. I'll tee it up a little bit more for you. So we started to interview with influencers was basically the original podcast that I started 5 years ago, and since rebranded it and taken on a different role. But we want to bring that back, right? You and I discussed this. We want to bring it back to provide a podcast specifically for career seekers, folks that are young professionals, rising stars that are coming in to tell their stories, that are not just coming into the industry, but are here, been here for a couple of years, right? Just getting their feet wet. Discovering where they want to be, whether it's with a team, a league, a media, brand, wherever. And we wanted to be able to share those stories, number one, to inspire those who are stuck, right? And you just graduating, you're in a unbelievable situation that no one in the history of since I've been alive has faced this before. Maybe my great-grandparents, grandparents who went through World War II. But no one has experienced this right now except for your generation. What does it feel like, Mike? Where's your thought process?
And it really is the unprecedented times, and it's one of those things where it's all about mindset and perspective, and you could really take this time to sit back and say, okay, the industry is kind of at a pause, and no one's going to look to hire right now. There's a hiring freezes, right? But it's all about, like I said, mindset and perspective, and turn that fear into excitement and say, okay, how can I grow today? I can't control what the pandemic, right? I can't control quarantine. I can't control what the governor, what the president says. I can control who I network with. What I do. Do I read a book? So I think it's all about just being positive and looking to better yourself each and every day.
Yeah. So talk about things that you prepared yourself for, because you didn't just automatically come out and voila, you get a job with the Nationals, right? There was a process, an 18, 24-month process, probably even deeper. So talk about that. I mean, you started off, you were commuting, you transferred colleges, you were commuting, you were working full-time, internship, going to school. So talk about that part of it. How did that shape who you are right now?
Yeah. It's all about just opportunity. So just to take a step back, like you said, I transferred in from Central Connecticut State, and I was in a dark spot in my life when, going into my senior year at Central, I was a PE major, and I didn't really know, it wasn't for me. And I made the leap of faith to not knowing what I wanted to do, to take a semester off and really evaluate what I wanted to do with my life. And that's where I found I got a job working for a local gym and selling, memberships to the club. And from there, that's kind of where it all clicked for me, right? I love working with people. I love solving problems and helping people in any way I can. So that's where that business side came in. but yeah, it started with just saying yes and having that yes mentality, right? So when I was in that dark spot and I said, okay, I'm going to have to work 3 times as hard to get where I want to be. I already had this setback. So just saying yes to every opportunity that was presented to me, right? It's going to networking events. It's connecting with you, right, Rob? When we first met, it was for an extra credit assignment to go speak and meet. And from there, it led to this partnership and this friendship. So it's just saying yes to every opportunity that's in front of you, because you never know where it's going to lead. I would also add finding a way to separate yourself, right? So I always like the analogy, and I was speaking with one of my colleagues yesterday about it. It's Teamwork Online is a fantastic resource for applications, right? You can go on and see who's looking to hire, but there's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 applicants for each role. So how are you going to separate yourself? So it's reaching out, whether it's reaching out on LinkedIn, networking, things of that nature. So I would say those have been kind of the 2 takeaways for me.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit more. Talk about the experience that you mentioned that and that we've had since you've been here. And part of being an advisor for my role at the University of New Haven is on the advisory board of the sport management program, is I mentor and provide a little bit of career development guidance, right? And it's an extra credit and it's not required, but for those who are brave enough to show up at the radio station before my podcast, right? We meet. And when you walked in, after you left, I'm like, oh, this kid's going somewhere, right? I knew right away. And then you just looped back to me and you said, hey, we stayed in touch during the summertime with the Yankees. And when you came back to school, that's when we reconnected. And we said, hey, I got something for you, Mike, if you're interested. So tell them about what happened from the fall on.
Yeah. So like I said, it's that yes mentality. And Rob and I, we stayed in contact, and he came to me with this opportunity with Game Plan U and working with startups and being that consultant and that problem solver and helping them grow and, accelerate their brands. And it was something that I didn't have experience in. I had sales experience with the gym memberships and obviously in the ticket sales and service industry, but I didn't have any experience getting on the phone speaking with CEOs, about convertible notes and things of that nature. It was definitely a growing process, but again, just diving full in and from there, just our relationship, all the relationships that we've made with these different startups, and it's just an experience that it's hard to put into words. The experience, it's a talking point now for every other interview I go into, and it's been an incredible opportunity.
So talk about your thoughts on the sports technology side of the industry, because when I came back to you, I said, Mike, I got something here. I'm an advisor also for a lot of these startups, and just as on whether I'm an advisory board or a mentor for them, and there's this whole huge, massive network of VCs, angel investors that are looking for deal flow. Right. These are all new technology. These are all new terminology words that you don't hear in a classroom. Right. And what's deal flow, right? What's convertible notes? What are these things that people are talking about, but they know what DraftKings are, right? People know what the DraftKings and FanDuel. So talk about that, Mike, your discovery of this side of the industry that you didn't know even existed.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think it's one of those things that exists, but you don't, right? It's you're using DraftKings, but you're not thinking of the tech side of it, right? Or you're at a game and there's an app, a fan engagement app, but you're not processing, well, there's a whole business behind that app and who created that app and that partnership behind that. There's just so much there, and that's where the business is going. With the whole pandemic, and it's going to reshape the sport industry. And the tech side of it is going to take over. It already has started, and now it's just going to be, it's going to take over everything from, like we always joke, but it's coming where you're going to be sitting in your living room and you're going to have VR, right? And you'll be able to be right on the sidelines. So it's one of those things where it's the side of the industry right now that is booming, right? The money's hot. The investors are looking to invest, and these startups see the hole in the marketplace, and they're all going all in. So it's one of those things. It's the side of the industry that is on the rise, and that's why we got into this from the start, because it really is where the future is going.
Well, you pivoted in your college career, right? You went to a point where you said, I don't know if this is what I want to do. You took some time off, you regrouped, you basically took a gap semester, right? And you came back, you worked a little bit, you refigured, you discovered where you fit in, what kind of got your buttons pressed a little bit more so than the track you were going down, and you pivoted earlier on. A lot of students don't get a chance to do that. They go through the 4 years, they come out and they're like, now what? What do I do? Is this really what I want? Through this discovery, Mike, and the immersion into the industry, how important was this experience for you personally, and where you think you're going now into the future of, well, maybe the team, the league isn't where I ultimately want to go, because now I see this whole different universe out there within sports technology and where that part is going. Obviously, you should be down at the Nationals right now, and end of May, beginning of June, you should be down there. You're not. And you and thousands of others entering into the industry for the first time. How has this experience, this immersive experience, working remotely, working hand in hand with me on this project, how has this helped help you discover and explore the industry a little bit differently?
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where first there's that hurdle of everyone wants to be the GM, right? That's when everyone gets into college. That's the original goal for the majority of students. Then reality sinks in about, your sophomore year or end of freshman year, when it's okay, there's a business side. I want to be an AD, all of that. And then I want to work for a team. I want to work for a league, but it doesn't, the sports tech space, startup space is not really taught in the schools, and having this opportunity to see that, and to just the communication skills, being able to speak with CEOs, understand their thought process, become comfortable on Zoom. I mean, I think that's it's a new way of life, is Zoom conferencing and remote internships, and it's reshaping the industry. And I think it's one of those things, you never say no to an opportunity, and you just grow those transferable skills, and you never know what you're going to find and who you're going to meet.
That's so true. You never know who you're going to meet. You never knew I was going to meet you when you walked into the radio station that day and we sat down and you tell me all the great things that you want to do in your life. And, I knew at that point it was going to be, it's hard to come away, especially when you're a up and coming rising star in the industry. And you see a lot of younger professionals who have big aspirations, and unfortunately, a lot of them, those aspirations only go for a year or 2, 3 years into the industry, and they fizzle out. They get frustrated. Maybe ticket sales or sponsorship sales wasn't for them, trying to find the right position for them. You have a really great sense of self-awareness about yourself. You're very direct, and you're very much into knowing what you're good at. Talk about that. How important is self-awareness and that EQ within your career? I mean, you're a sales guy, you're a biz dev guy, and you're a relationship guy. You knew that right away. So you're very, and of course you've had a little bit more time too to think about it. You had that year off or whatever. How important was that little time, that little gap in discovery of yourself personally?
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge. I think the thing that everyone needs to understand is you're going to find out what you hate doing a lot quicker than what you find out what you love doing. Right. And, that time just really gave me time to just reflect on what I didn't want to do. And you just gotta embrace that uncertainty, and follow your heart, and that's going to lead you to where you want to go. Just be open, be humble, be transparent, and everything's going to work out, and you're going to find out where you're meant to be. Like you said, for me, it's that relationship building. It's being a problem solver. It's helping others solve their problems. And whether that's through ticket sales and service, whether that's through working with startups, or whether it's selling gym memberships, it's whatever I can do to help others is is what I love doing, and that's my calling in life.
And sometimes going down that road of gym memberships, you didn't know that was going to be such a great foundation at the time for really understanding the sales, the art of sales, right? The art of human connection. And so talk about that when you just say yes to an opportunity. Saying yes to a job opportunity that comes through for somebody who's directly into the sports industry. It could be something in doing marketing, or it could be working for a builder, whatever, that gap job that they need before the sports industry. What do you recommend for their mindset to be as they kind of take that step, maybe not exactly in the sports industry?
Yeah, it's that simple. It's being a lifelong learner. It's having your antennas up and just being a sponge. It's it's transferable skills. I go back to my first job, which was coaching basketball summer camps throughout high school, and just the communication skills I built with the kids and communicating with the parents and problem solving, thinking on your feet. It's all the little skills. And at the end of the day, those are what employers look for. They're going to look for, is this person willing to learn, right? Is the biggest thing. So just embrace every challenge. You may hate what you're doing, right? But if it's an internship and you're committed for 3 months, fulfill the commitment, build those relationships, and just learn as much as you possibly can. At the end of the day, it's going to help you grow.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So let's talk about growing this podcast. Let's talk about, Mike, what's your vision for this show? What are those stories that you want to share with your peers in the industry?
Yeah, I think when we discuss this, it's just about helping students and helping young professionals, find their calling, right? Hear the different stories. We all have different stories, right, Robbie? I mean, your story is just into the sport industry is a great one, right? And you have the same thing of just saying yes to an opportunity and not getting paid for it. But I think everyone's story is different, and we want to share those stories with the next generation of rock stars and have current industry professionals give them advice. And here's how what we can do to help you get into the industry, and share that different perspective. So we just wanted to give that platform to the current industry professionals, and then vice versa to the up and coming rock stars.
So let's talk about those rock stars. We have a program called Student Connect now, and the project that you've been working on with 3 college students that you've been leading them through this group of cohorts that we have leading into our spring showcase. So talk about our initiative there with our Student Connect program.
Yeah. So again, I think when Game Plan U, the original vision you had was working with career seekers, right? And helping them get into the industry. And it developed into working with startups and founders. And we felt this was the opportunity to get back in the game and get back to kind of our core mission, which was to help students get that immersion experience in the industry, show them a side of the industry that they didn't know existed, and then it's on their resume, right? It's a resume builder. It's a foot in the door. And who knows where it's going to lead when you're working with, we have our founders now reaching out to startups, right? And having those one-on-one conversations, and who knows, that could lead to a potential job offer. So it's helping out our students get into the industry, but 2, it's about helping out our founders as well and giving them that opportunity to have someone there as an intern to help them grow their business. And at the end of the day, everybody benefits. So it's been an incredible experience.
It's a win-win for everybody. And we look at those 3 or 4 different areas: content development and content marketing, right? So if a startup has a podcast or just needs that support, because usually our startups, right, Mike, are either 1 or 2, right? They're solos, or there may be 1 or 2 people within them. So they don't have all the resources. So we want to provide them with the resources from content marketing to maybe podcast producing, to graphic design, to editing, to business development and research. And then the last one would be, technology, to help them with the technology piece. And if you're a college student coming in, or a career seeker, maybe pivoting, we want to put you in teams to work with these startups to get that experience and potentially get hired by them. I mean, at the end of the day, how many jobs were you offered like the first 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we said before, right? It's relationship building. It's helping these guys in any way they can, and who knows, right? So it's just an incredible platform, an opportunity for everyone. And I know you could speak to it as well, but it fires us up, right? To see these guys coming in all hungry and ready to go, and going out of their way to, what can I do? How can I help here? So it's been an incredible experience thus far.
It's the ultimate dot connector, and that's why we call it Connect, right? So it's connecting the founders and the startups with the students and the career seekers, and with our investment and investor network. So it's this ecosystem that we're creating of this really cool part of our industry and technology, and providing these remote internships from anywhere in the world. So Mike, where can people, how's this for a tee up? Where can people find out more information about not only the Student Connect program, but everything else we're doing? Yeah, so that's gameplanu.org is our website. You could also reach me directly on LinkedIn, Mike Sharfenberg, or our email as well, mike@gameplanu.org. Any questions, or if you just want to get on a call and talk about your career goals and getting into the industry, we'd love to connect, both Rob and myself. Connect we will. And let's connect about something else, Mike. How am I more tan than you are right now? After, I just think I got a little bit more of a tan, like a little bit more sun this weekend. I don't know. I mean, it's maybe the lighting. But I think it's probably high blood pressure, actually. Just I want to kind of throw a curve back on you. We've been working together 8 months and finally getting on a podcast. Yeah. Been long time coming. It has been, but it's been worth the wait, right? It's been worth the wait because now we have the story. It's been worth the wait. It's worth every penny. Yeah. So it really has been. And now we got our own podcast together that we're going to be doing each week. We're going to be having on the rock star young up and coming professionals and these executive who are rising in the industry. We're going to have them on so they can tell their story. We'll be doing a live on LinkedIn, so we'll have Q&As as well. So if you are a career seeker, if you're already in the industry, you want to be inspired, more importantly, you want to open up your network. You want to figure out who you want to find out and get to know who these executives are, because they're rising, right? They're rising stars, and we want you to be able to network with them as well. So Mike and I will be doing the Game Plan U Today interview with influencers starting on the first week of June. So we will be making announcements. It's going to be like I said, it's going to be live on LinkedIn, but we'll probably be doing some also private webinars along with it. But that's about it. So we're excited to bring that to you. And Mike, any final words of inspiration? Just attack the day and get excited, get fired up. It's an exciting time to be in the sport industry, and we're excited to help out in any way we can. On behalf of Mike and myself, you're watching Game Plan U Today. Everybody have a great day. Thanks. Have a great one, guys. Thank you.